This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the new media production studio. The lead stories are SpaceX upgrades Starlink satellites. Russia is beating Ukraine with electronic warfare. Amazon brings the mall to you. And the Apple App Store will now have more ads. I want to welcome you to episode 1615 of the Geek News Central podcast for Monday, August 1st. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. When you get over on the website, please follow or subscribe to the show. Sign up for the newsletter. You'll find that link on the website. Very, very, very simple to do. Of course, we always want you to stay in touch with the show. You can always send me an email at geeknews@gmail.com or follow me on Twitter at geeknews. You can join our chat room at geeknews.chat or our Discord channel, which you'll find the link in the show notes. You can always, of course, follow me on Facebook as well. Our partner shows are all linked at geeknewscentral.com. Make sure you check those out. We want you to do so. It includes the new media show, the Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain, and, of course, GNC Weekend Review with Kirk and Scott. Definitely check those shows out, and we want to thank you for your consideration when you do so. Of course, this show is sponsored by the longest continuous running sponsor of a podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy.com. And I'm going to be honest with you. All you got to do is go over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy, geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy to lock in the savings. Whether it be a 30% off discount on a new product purchase, whether it be, check this out, $4.99, not $1.09, $4.99.com for new or transferred domains for new customers. $1.90 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain name. Again, $1.99 a month economy hosting for the first year with a free domain name. Or $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. You can always get a free trial of GoDaddy website builder, your choice of personal business or business plus plans. Again, we want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at Geek News Central. I want to thank you for your ongoing support of the sponsor. Make sure you definitely check it out. Share my codes with your friend, family, people that you know, people at work, people that are looking to get started with an online business, online website, a podcast like one of our listeners just recently did. Definitely check that out. We want you to get started today with your own website. So I want to thank, again, GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here. So, hey, you want to check up with everybody? How you guys doing? I tell you, what I did today is I've had some serious issues with my remaining Windows laptop that is essentially the mainstay of my control center to get everything up and live, get the streams up. It's really not a heavy lift computer in any way, and I had an very much older MacBook Pro that was laying around here that I haven't used in some time, and I got it out and I updated it and put all, just went through all the, get everything set up so it could run in the place of that Windows machine. And lo and behold, as soon as I plug the power supply into this, man, it carries everywhere throughout the entire network, even going through basically a power conditioner. We still have the background hum from that transformers making it through. And so if you hear a little background noise today, you may not hear it, but I do. So we got to figure that out. Got to figure out what to do. I moved it around, got an extension cord out, put it on a different circuit. So it's something bigger. So I'm going to go search around, see if I can find a power supply, a different type of power supply for this MacBook, and maybe that will help things out. You don't have to use a brick anymore per se. You can connect these devices to a variety of of things. And so we'll see. I don't know. Maybe a big fat power brick or something for the duration of the show. I don't know. It's the battery in it is sus. I'd have to send it to Apple and get the battery changed if I want to run on battery only during the show. But not willing. I guess probably before I buy anything, it would definitely be cheaper just to get the battery placed on the laptop than it would be probably $99 for the battery replacement. Definitely cheaper than some sort of new type of power conditioner here. But it's just one of those things. You change things out a little bit, and you have to listen. And every once in a while, it just happens. And the feedback can go a multitude of ways. It can, I unplugged the LAN connector because I want to make sure that it wasn't going that way. And as complex as this setup is, it really, I don't like to touch too much or change too much. Even the Rodecaster that I have, when it's powered off, if I leave the 1/4-inch jack in, I get a little sound on that. So it's pretty amazing what can influence stuff here. And I've got pretty good separation between power and audio cables, but sometimes it just doesn't work. All right, so the Podcast Awards nominations are closed. So we announced the slate on the 7th. So got a lot of work ahead on that with auditing and everything else that goes through and validating the slate. Meanwhile, I head to Columbus tomorrow afternoon. My team is meeting this entire week to basically plan out our next 6 months. And it's the first meeting we've had as our entire team minus one since really since the beginning of the pandemic. So I'm looking forward to that. But we got lots of stuff coming, multiple announcements. One that's coming on Wednesday, and then next week on Tuesday we'll have an announcement, and then probably the week before Podcast Movement, probably 2 announcements. We had to push something because it's not ready a week. We actually did a test here on something on the last episode. Some of you may have had a little trouble getting the episode downloaded immediately before I made some changes because there was a few apps that were choking on some stuff. So we're getting a fix in for what was going on there. So it's all part of the process here. And but otherwise, got a great show lined up for you today. Lots of stuff to talk about. Thanks for Kirk for doing the prep. I think I saw somewhere on Facebook it might be his birthday today. So happy birthday to Kirk. If it's your birthday, I think it is. But great job on the show prep if it is on your birthday. So first up, SpaceX has upgraded Starlink to reflect less light, and it cannot launch this without its Starship. And, the SpaceX satellites have drawn the ire of astronomers since their deployment in 2019. While they may not completely ruin the images taken by sensitive astronomical equipment, they become an annoyance to professional and amateur stargazers. So they have really worked to get the glare down. And they're saying that the upgrade satellites are equipped with 3 bits of technology the rocket company said will improve the brightness mitigation, a dielectric mirror film, solar array mitigation, and good old-fashioned black paint. And so we'll see how this happens. But they're bigger and heavier. The second-generation satellites are too large and heavy for anything but SpaceX. You have to launch Starship to get them to orbit. They weigh, they measure 1.25 tons and are 7 meters long. And Musk, who said SpaceX Falcon rockets, has neither the mass nor the volume to get it into orbit with a bunch of Starlink 2 satellites deploy, and they do need to be rolled out in collections to make the launches worthwhile. So they're working through their mitigations to be able to potentially launch Starship here in the near future. Report is out, according to sources, that Russia is starting to win or starting to beat Ukraine at the electronic warfare game. Now, I know a lot about electronic warfare. I spent 25 years. Basically, my primary job was electronic warfare operator, and signal jamming, detection, all that kind of stuff is not necessarily complex, but it is a game, and in one that is won by, well, lots of power, subtle actions, things that you can do. And basically, they're saying here that in the beginning, Russia couldn't get EW assets close enough to make a difference. Now, as the war has progressed, they've been able to move systems into and closer to the battlefield. And this is kind of interesting. So this analysis in Spectrum, which is let's just put it this way. It's a publication that I used to read cover to cover. It's produced by the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. They argue that while EW did not play a decisive role in the invasion, it's now helping to tip the scales. I'm fully aware of potentially what the Russians are employing. And let's be honest with you, when you're controlling drones and those types of things, they usually are not operating on sophisticated frequencies. And it doesn't take a lot to jam those types of communications. So there's also things that are used to basically fire missiles, fire artillery batteries, that type of stuff. And, when you light something up and you emit and you have the right technology to detect, hunt, and destroy, you can be on the receiving end of something very, very bad that goes boom. So this is an interesting development here, and it's curious to me that they were not successful in the early days. You have to own the electromagnetic spectrum from the beginning. You need to shut things down. You need to jam a missile down antennas that are doing things to detect other things. You have to own the electromagnetic spectrum. That is the key in any modern warfare. And it's not as complex as one would think, but it does require a certain type of equipment and type of operators and type of, detection ability. So it's a curious statement here that they're starting to win. And it's amazing to me that they didn't own it from the beginning. It really, really is. So anyway, link will be up in the show notes. You can check it out. Amazon is bringing them all to you with the same day deliveries from companies like GNC, PacSun. So they partnered with Superdry Diesel, and Amazon says it's working offering same day deliveries from Sur La Table and 100% pure in the coming months. So, I'll be kind of honest with you. I do not remember the last time I shopped at any of those mall outlets. Matter of fact, I be honest with you, when was the last time I was in a mall? Probably around Christmas time was about the last time I was in a mall. So I can assume this is why these manufacturers are lining up, is because people aren't going to the mall. They're still shopping from their computers. But these companies all have their own online stores, so it's interesting to me that they are enabling the commerce ordering and delivering. So they're becoming all things. It's interesting. Apple's App Store homepage will soon feature ads. You'll also see them in individual app aids. Now, Apple's famously bragged that it will never invade your privacy to serve ads, but it does have an ad business. on its app store and elsewhere. The company is now expanding that business by adding a new ad slot to its Today homepage tab and on individual app pages. They are on top of the ads already found on the App Store's main search tab and in the search results. Apple Search Ads provides opportunities for developers of all sizes to grow their business. Like our other advertising offerings, these new ad placements are built upon the same foundation. They only contain content from apps, approved App Store product pages, and will adhere to the same rigorous privacy standards. So, I haven't been on the App Store in a while. I haven't had to add any apps to my phone or my computers at all. So, I don't know. Are you guys in there quite a bit? To be honest with you, I don't even know what's new or what's cool. Space View shows explosive growth of the massive California wildfire. The deadly McKinney fire is so intense it's producing pyrocumulus bus clouds. So basically, NOAA shared a time lapse of the fire from Saturday as seen by the Earth watching satellite. Agency said as the fire has shown extreme behavior and explosive growth. And it is a very interesting video to watch. Let's see if I can turn this so you guys can see it. So you can actually see, let me go ahead and see if I can run this again. You can see the spurts of course, regular cloud cover came over the top as well. But it is an interesting GIF. But link will be up in the show notes for you to check that out. So those of you in Northern California dealing with that, our thoughts are there for you. Google Pixel 7 leak points toward a possible mid-October release. So there is an image, but I don't know if it's the actual one. But rumors say that the Pixel 7 Pro could begin pre-orders on October 6th. The new Pixel phones are also speculated to have the new Pixel Watch released alongside them. The new Pixel phones are expected to ship with Android 13, so full release of the new software expected before you get your hands on these new devices. So if you're a Google Pixel phone lover, which a lot of my developers are at Blueberry, one's forthcoming. In Pennsylvania, campaign volunteers are getting a taste of gig work. So ordering a yard sign is as easy as replying to a text. So, starting Monday, ordering a free Josh for Governor yard sign will as easy as responding to a text message for Pennsylvania voters. The new voter outreach program mixes other voter file data and gig economy-like delivery services to create a universe that is primed to accept good old-fashioned yard signs. By leveraging the campaign's texting program, volunteers in campaign's text banking program will ask voters directly would like to receive a sign to support the gubernatorial candidate. Once a voter accepts, their information is sent over to the campaign where the data is sorted into delivery routes and volunteers sign up for delivery shifts and receive a route through a delivery driver app. The campaign is using the Circuit Route Planner, a mobile delivery app that promises to make delivery easy for everyone through coordinating routes for contract deliveries. You know, one thing my mom and I talked about many years ago when she had her fruit delivery business or vegetable delivery business, she had to put her routes together. And they had route books so that they would know. I think they had 13 route books because a lot of it was home delivery largely to the Amish community in Indiana. So they had certain days they would hit certain routes and do certain deliveries and I always thought there would be a cool thing to have an app for that. The orders would come in, it automatically plot the route, and then you could load the app and say, okay, which 30 or 40 stops are we going to make today? And it would work you through that. This sounds very, very similar. So Circuit Route Planner, that's something if any of you are doing any type of delivery service, I think I'd be checking that piece of software out in a big, big way. BMW is ready as a cheaper electric i4 sedan due in early 2023. The $51,400 i4 eDrive 35 will have 260 miles of range from a 66 kilowatt hour battery pack. So 51.4 is the base price on this before you start adding any options. That's how it kind of works, right? You go to the vehicles, oh, yes, this is the base price, and they put together a package for you, and the next thing you do, you're walking out the door at $70,000. So 51.4 base price of the i4 eDrive 365. In Asia, the Asia Pacific region, hackers stole passwords for accessing 140,000 payment terminals. I've never seen these terminals myself. It's called YEasy, WISEASY, is a brand that is in the Asia Pacific region. It's managed through what's called a Wise Cloud service. They can manage, configure, and update customer terminals over the internet, but employee passwords used to do that were found on the dark web, and these have been hacked. So hackers have had access to nearly 140,000 payment terminals around the world. And Bugard said it first contacted them about the compromised dashboards in early July, but efforts to disclose the compromise were met with meetings with executives that were later canceled without warning. And according to the reporter, the company declined to say or when the cloud dashboards would be secured. So apparently they've got a big issue here, and they don't want to face it. So if you own a business and you're using these WISEASY credit card processing terminals, they have probably been compromised. Charter is seeing a slowdown of home internet customers, and they blame the end of COVID subsidy programs. They lost 42,000 customers on Friday. This loss of 42,000 residential internet customers, leaving with 28,259,000 households buying Spectrum internet service. The Charter also gained 21,000 small and medium businesses, bringing it to 1.994 million in that category. They said that the subscriber losses are unusual. It was the first quarter ever in which it failed to gain. And they say it's because the COVID subsidies are gone, where people were given between about $50 a month where that were on low income. Well, I'm going to tell you, people are canceling stuff because it's gotten pretty pricey out there in the world. It's not just internet they're canceling. They're throttling back on a lot of things. So this should not at all come as a surprise. I am not a big Spotify fan. Most people know that. And by the way, if you're watching the show today, make sure you say hello. We want you to make sure you do so. And Richard says, I use Road Warrior every day at FedEx. Very cool routing app. Richard, is that a proprietary app from FedEx? Spotify wants users to pay for separate play and shuffle buttons. It's updating its app to address a long-standing user complaint with music playback, but it's asking customers to pay for the fix. The company announced today it will introduce at last a separate play button and a shuffle button at the top of album playlists to make it easier to play the music the way you like. They replace the combined button available before, which had been inconsistent across platforms and frustrating to use. However, streamers may be disappointed to find out that that what should be an app update in favor of the better usability is oddly being sold to them as a reason to upgrade to Spotify's paid tier. The company says the new button is only being offered to Spotify premium subscribers. Well, I'm going to tell you, Spotify's got major money issues, and they've got to ink out some more cash. So if that's a feature you need so badly, you're going to have to pay to get it. It's one of those things where you either provide enough features to make it compelling to pay, or you force people to pay to get the add-on. There's certain things, or seem in my business, there's certain things that have a fixed cost way beyond what I can provide within the base service that I offer. And when I offer an add-on, it's specifically because I can't foot that bill myself. And it's a hard decision to make because you look at it, and for us though, it's really truly added value. It's not just a button. It's a whole bunch of extra service integrations. So if something's going to cost me, as an example, $1.50 an hour, play hour to implement, then if the producer wants that feature, they're probably going to pay $1.55 or $1.60 just so I cover the cost. I don't plan to make money on it, but I got to cover my administrative load, credit card charges, all that stuff. So I understand it, but this is something stupid Spotify's doing to try to ink out more money on a feature that should just be there. Google CEO Sundar Pichai says productivity is not where it needs to be. He is changing Google's promotion incentives and wants more customer focus. Now, this is interesting. Remote work. He thinks Google has room to be a more focused company. He says there are real concerns that our productivity as a whole is not where it needs to be for the headcount we have. The CEO added he wants to create a culture that is more mission focused, more focused on our products, more customer focused. We think we should think about how we can minimize distractions and really raise the bar on both product excellence and productivity. So this is interesting that they're saying they're not being productive. Now, that could mean they're not working hard enough. They're not. Is remote work slowing them down, or is it a series of lack of leadership defining exactly what we're going to do? I meet with my CTO 3 times a week, and we discuss issues and deadlines and what compromises we're going to have to make and changes. And we did a little shuffle today because I got some stuff I need to get announced and done before Podcast Movement in Dallas. And we made a strategic decision to do something versus something else because I need to deliver a couple of more things to have it as we're headed into our biggest event of the year. So it's not because of inefficiency. And again, I'm bringing my entire team to Columbus, so we're going to lose some productivity this week largely because of that. But at the same time, is productivity waning because people are not in the office as much? So that is a question. It's being reported that Oracle started laying off more U.S. employees. So the draw is going to be happening. The company may cut thousands of workers globally, including U.S., Canada, and India, to reduce costs by $1 billion. That's crazy. They got to reduce by $1 billion. Oracle currently has 130,000 employees. And like any other company, the majority of their ongoing expenses are definitely tied to salaries. That's usually a company's biggest expense. Dell wants your laptop to wirelessly charge your phone. Dell's patent has yet to be acted upon in an official capacity. And it kind of makes sense. You just put your phone on top of your laptop. That would be kind of nice. I don't know. But wireless charging isn't particularly new. A number of chargers have been offered this year. But laptops that can wirelessly charge your phone, that's different. And a new Dell patent hints this could be forthcoming. So they basically, it's not even about having it on the lid. It's when the lid is up. They got a picture of a charger basically just below the keyboard. So I don't know if I want of course, if I'm using my laptop, I'm not sure that I want it tied have my phone sitting there. It's just a little bit odd on my part, but I would have more thought it would be when the lid was down, but not the case. If you're a blogger, a podcaster, NASA inviting media to the next SpaceX commercial crew space station launch. So applications are available. So media accreditations are there. So if you're a geek or a techie or a Kirk, you could even apply for this to go down there and cover it as part of your podcast. I've been invited a couple of times over the years and have never went, just was not in the right place at the right time. This next story is kind of a crazy one. U.S. authorities threaten Alibaba with New York Stock Exchange delisting. Chinese tech giant Alibaba is basically not doing the reporting they're supposed to do. Alibaba's addition to the SEC list of nearly 300 companies, mostly from China, mean that U.S. officials were unable to complete an audit of the company's finances. The 2020 Holding Foreign Companies Accountability Act gives the SEC authority to delist companies if it's suspected that financial audits may not be accurate. And it's famous for coming out of China that these are bogus numbers. They cook the books, and I'm not saying Alibaba is, but a lot of Chinese companies cook the books and make themselves appear bigger than they are. The news hit the stock hard, causing a drop from $100.52 to $89.37 through the day. In a statement sent to the FCC on Monday, Alibaba said it would strive to maintain its listing status and it would continue to monitor market developments and comply with applicable laws and regulations. This doesn't mean that Alibaba will immediately remove the NYSE. Instead, the notice marks the company's first non-inspection year. Alibaba is only actually in danger of delisting if it hands in 2 more consecutive annual reports that run afoul. The report that landed the company under scrutiny covered Alibaba's fiscal year ending March 31st, 2022. Companies have 15 business day dispute addition to the list, along with Alibaba's inclusion last week. Pet company Boki, Cheetah Mobile, e-commerce platform Mogu, manufacturing business Highway Holdings, and logistics company Navigent Corp, all from China or Hong Kong, were added. Now, this is not a surprise to me. Company that I know in the podcasting space run afoul of the SEC because they were involved with a Chinese company for a while, and they're still. Matter of fact, it's even worse. They've been delisted. A Twitter investor is suing Elon Musk in a bid to force through a $44 billion takeover. The proposed class action lawsuit accuses Musk of breach of his fiduciary duty to Twitter shareholders. So this is a shareholder that it wants to force Elon to buy the company as well. So because the stock has took a hit. And he says he holds 5,500 shares of Twitter. Those are worth nearly $300,000 at the $54.20. But right now, the shares are currently worth $223,000. Twitter's currently share price of $40.55. Well, we'll see where this goes. Pinterest, yes, remember that company? Pinterest claims on user numbers and even as financial disappoint. Pinterest pointed to disappointing financial results and gave guidance that missed Wall Street expectation, but user numbers were better than expected. The company blamed a weak advertising market. And Elliott Management, the company I think that owns it, confirmed that it's Pinterest's biggest investor, said it was has conviction in the company. So they did 666 million versus 667. So they really didn't miss it by much. It's a company you don't hear too much about. They're still doing that kind of money. For those of you, the Star Trek fans, actress Nichelle Nicholas has died. So best known as Natoya Ura in Star Trek, the original series, has died. So Nichols' son Kyle Johnson shared the news on Sunday. I regret to inform you that that a great light in the firmament no longer shines for us as it has for so many years. Hers was a life well lived and as such a model for all of us. Nichols was 89 when she passed on Saturday, July 30th, of natural causes. She was a trailblazer, breaking to Hollywood at a time when the opportunities for black women were few and far between. Nichols said she had considered quitting the show during its first season to pursue a career on Broadway, but had a change of heart after meeting Martin Luther King. As a fan of the show and someone who saw Nichols as a role model, was apparently horrifying to find out she wanted to leave and convinced her to stay with it. So NASA even made a tweet as well. So Star Trekkie fans of her, she is R.I.P. Cellular services coming to New York subway tunnels, but it's going to take a while. The project will take 10 years to complete. Why doesn't this exist already? Is it that complicated? Really? It's embarking a 10-year project to wire all 418 miles of underground track and underneath the city with wireless. No, not cellular. Wireless connectivity. Oh, it's going to put in. Oh, the name sounds familiar because the Transit Wireless Authority operates MTA's existing underground Wi-Fi network. It also subsidiaries BAI, a company that has completed a similar project in Toronto and Hong Kong. So, according to New York Times, Transit Wireless plans to pay for the project through data collection, fiber optic cable leases to carriers. Okay, well, we'll see where this goes. What does Tim Hortons think your data is worth? Well, for those of you who don't know what a Tim Hortons is in Canada. A coffee and a donut, apparently, after Canada's privacy watchdog accused its app of collecting vast amounts of location data. Tim Hortons, a Canadian fast food chain, is accused to be in violation of this. And it says it reached a proposed settlement in the resulting class action lawsuit to make up for tracking users, recording their movements every few minutes, even when the app was closed. The chain is proposing to give users a free hot beverage and a free baked good worth a little under $9 Canadian plus tax. And it's a proposed settlement. Coffee and a donuts. Tim Hortons is also committed to permanently deleting all geolocation about group members. Crucially, however, the restaurant chain tells Global News that the prosummation is not an admission of wrongdoing and that the allegation has not been proven in a court of law. So, that's what our privacy is worth today. A cup of coffee, ladies and gentlemen. PC World has an article, Wi-Fi 5 versus Wi-Fi 6 versus Wi-Fi 6E. Which router should you pick? Well, it is kind of a weird time to pick a router. PC World breaks it down. Personally, I think it's very early for 6E. If you can hang out a while, I'd hang out a while. Personally, that would be the way I would do it. All right, one of the articles I have today, I want you to really, I am not a crypto advisor, but I think NFTs are probably one of the potentially biggest scams in the crypto world. Tiffany & Company is selling NFTs for $50,000 each. The luxury brand on Friday will launch a collection of 250 NFTs, each priced at 30 Ether. What are they? This is crazy. Tiffany isn't targeting a typical crypto punter with this collection of its exclusive to holders of CryptoPunks, famous as the first NFT collection. CryptoPunks rarely go for less than six figures, so Tiffany is targeting the most affluent NFT collectors. And it's going to be jewelry that will have an NFT assigned to it. The NFTs luxury brand selling are really more accessories to the main product. Those who shell out $50,000 for our NFT IFF will get a Tiffany pendant version of the CryptoPunk they own. This is the stupidest. What is the biggest scam? This is for people that have more money than common sense. The Chinese are going to see a picture of this thing, and you're going to be able to buy these things on the street in New York in about 6 weeks. It's the stupidest thing ever. I just don't get it. Also, and this is true when you travel almost anywhere in the world, when they ask, do you have any food, vegetables, anything on your person, and they're walking through the aisles and collecting that garbage, make sure that you don't have any McMuffins left in your luggage on your way to Australia. An airport fined a traveler $1,870 over 2 McMuffins discovered in their luggage. The fine was part of an Australian initiative to prevent an outbreak of food and mouth disease. An Australian airport, again, fined this individual $1,874 after authorities found McDonald's breakfast sandwiches in their luggage. The press release also cited local news said a biosecurity detector dog at Darwin International Airport last week identified 2 egg and sausage muffins and a ham croissant in the luggage on a trip from Bali. The food was confiscated, inspected, and destroyed, and they were fined. So here's the deal. If you're traveling international, they ask if you have food, get rid of it. If you're going to Hawaii, they have a amnesty box. As you're going down the escalator to go into luggage claim, you're going to see an amnesty box. Now, if you can put your weed, whatever you want to put in there, you can put in there. But first of all, if you're traveling with weed on a flight, good luck. But if you have food, Hawaii has strict restrictions on bringing food in too. You put the food in the amnesty box, you're good. But if the little dog that's wandering around luggage claim comes up and sniffs your bag and they find food in your bag, you could be fined. This is what happens when they're trying to keep food from coming into the country. It sounds weird. It's just a croissant. But that is what happens if you travel international, and do not get rid of the food when the men and ladies that are the flight attendants are walking through asking you to get rid of your food. Sounds dumb, but it's the case. And Andrew, I agree, NFTs are a scam. So, by the way, as a reminder, I am not a crypto expert at all, but if you're listening to this show on the Fountain app, you probably earned around 700 or 800 Satoshis. Every 2 or 3 times you listen to the show on the Fountain app, you can actually donate those Satoshis back to the show. And when you do, I will read your comment at the end of the show, just like I do emails. So I definitely appreciate when you send me more than 1,000. That's always good, but any amount of sats are fine. Easiest way to contribute to the show is by listening on the Fountain app. It's a piece of cake to do so. I did have some email come in. Let me go and get that loaded. Am I in the right account here? Let's look. Yes, I am. Got to go down here. So, Andrew sent me an email. Todd, he said, in the last GNC, we're asking how long it takes to charge an EV. My car has an 80 kilowatt battery, which roughly equates to a range of 250 miles, depending on how hard you press the accelerator. The car will charge at a maximum rate of 150 kilowatts. So if there's a powerful charger available, it will charge from 0 to 80 in about a half hour. The last 20% goes more slowly to protect the battery. Unless I'm doing a long trip, I usually don't bother charging beyond 80. I have a charger at home, but it's way slower, about 3 kilowatts, and it will take hours to charge from empty. Typically, I can charge overnight when the battery is less than about 50% or the estimated range is less than 100 miles. I've done about 3 long overnight trips, and it's generally a case of planning. I have children, and no one wants to spend 4 hours in a car, so the 250-mile range is fine, and we choose destinations that have charging facilities or chargers nearby. Touch wood, I've never run out of charge. I was recently at a theme park in the Netherlands called Efteling. They have 140 chargers in the park, so you can leave your car charging while you're having fun on the roller coasters. That's the kind of investment that's needed. 140. The most chargers I've ever seen in one location, believe it or not, was at the Honolulu airport. There was about 15 of them, and they were all Nissan Leafs were plugged into them, and a line of cars waiting to charge, but no one around the Nissan Leafs to charge them. 140 chargers? Well, what happens when the park has 5,000 vehicles in it, and 80% of them are electric? It's not going to scale well. It really isn't. But I understand where you're coming from, and thank you for your email. Yes, they need that type of massive deployment everywhere. But most of the chargers that are even in this area are like home chargers. They charge slow, maybe a little bit higher than that. Oh boy, it's in my inbox. I need to go down here. I didn't copy it over. That's my fault. Let me go here and search and see if I can find it. Oh my God, okay, Tim. No, not Tim. Oh gosh, I'll get this here. Hang on, sorry. How come I can't find this? All right, one of our listeners out in California, and I apologize. I had the email. I don't know why I didn't copy it into the right folder. Let's see if I can find it here real quick again. It was Tim. Tim, hey, I know where you started your podcast. We'll help you move over to Blueberry. Come on over. We don't want you over there where you're at. That's a recipe for disaster. So let me know. I'll hook you up. Matter of fact, I sent your email. That's what I did. I forwarded your email to my my team, and I asked him to help you out. So good luck with your podcast, and as you get it ramped up, let me know about it so we can send people over to listen. If you've started a podcast or doing a podcast, please send me an email to the show. I hope you're hosting with Blueberry. We want you to be over there. Use my promo code Geek News. That'll get you 60 days free of hosting. That's in addition to the 30 days we give, but 60 days if you use my promo code. But I want to thank all of you for being part of the show today and hanging out with me. It's my pleasure to bring you the podcast. And last time I had some trouble. Oh, there we go. I think I've got it. Do I have it ready? I maybe have it ready. I don't know. Let me see if yeah, there we go. But thanks for being here. And again, no show on Thursday because I'm going to be in Columbus. Be back with you next Monday with another podcast. It's been my pleasure bringing the show. Everyone take care. We'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.